Your pads and paper out, guys. It's time for a bit of school. Hope you're better than me, lads. Welcome to SPFL Extra. Welcome to SPFL Extra this week, guys. As you can tell, it's only me here. I'm afraid Dougie is away on a personal trip down to London. Don't worry, he'll be back next week. I don't believe it's London though, I think he's in Preston, trying to convince Stevie May to get back up to Scotland and play for the old Sainties. Never gonna happen. Anyway, this week we're going to be talking about one of my favourite games, and I'm betting it's going to be some of your favourite games out there, FIFA. FIFA 16 is just around the corner, and we've got an insight into some of the best Scottish players in the game. Just like every week, we'll be looking at all your best comments. Right guys, like I said earlier, we're going to be looking at FIFA 16 this episode, and we've been given the ratings of the best Scottish player at each different team, and then their best stat, and we might even have a look at how they match up to some of the world's best. First up, start off with Aberdeen. Best or highest rated player that they have, Graham Shinney. He gets a 73 overall. Pretty solid if you ask me. Best stat is his pace, which is a 78, which marks him up against the players like Ross Barkley and James Rodriguez. So, you never know, could be something else on FIFA. Next up guys, we're going to go to the champions, and they have the highest rated player in the SPFL, Scott Brown, the club captain, of course international team captain as well. Now, he's a 76 overall, which is pretty good if you ask me, but his best stat is his pace at an 81, which puts him with the likes of Marcelo and Antonio Valencia. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Next up guys, we're going to Dundee, whose best player is Paul McGowan with a 68 overall, and his best stat, a bit of a trend running here, his pace again with 73, which puts him up against players like Kurt Zuma and Harry Kane, both of Premier League fame. Next up guys, we're going just across the road to Dundee United, whose best player is Ryan McGowan, exactly the same, 68 overall, but here's where it gets a little bit different guys. His best stat is his physicality, sitting at a 76 right now. Here is the best part. That is supposedly, in rating terms, as good as Gerard Piqué. Make of that what you will, and get your comments below. Let me know why that is wrong, because it's wrong guys, wrong. Next up guys, we're going down to Hamilton, and their best player is Ziggy Gordon with only a 64, I'm afraid guys, which isn't the best in the league, but let's just see how it pairs up pace wise with a 79, which is just as good as Lucas Piszczek. Say that 5 times fast. He's as good as Lucas Piszczek in the pace department. Get in the comments, I don't think he's that quick. Next up guys, we've got the Jam Tarts who are back in FIFA. Sadly, the Hibs aren't again. Can't believe it. Anyway, Jamie Walker's their best player. He gets a 66 overall. But a nice wee injection of pace with 81, which is the same as Nasri and Kieran Gibbs out of the Premier League. Next up, we're going up to Inverness, and the best player on their side, rating-wise that is Josh Meekings, getting a 69 overall, and his best stat is his 76 physicality. Now, I don't know about this, but that puts him up with the likes of Chris Smalling and Lucas Leiva of Liverpool. Now guys, this might be one of my favourites for having a laugh with. We're going to Kilmarnock, their best player, you guessed it, Chris Boyd with a whopping 69 overall, shooting of 72, but here's the best part of that 72. That gives him the equivalent shooting to Andreas Iniesta of Barcelona and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain of Arsenal. And we need some comments about that guys. Motherwell, and their best player is a 69 rated Lionel Ainsworth. We all know he's quick, but people think he is lightning fast. He gets 91 pace, the equivalent to Sadio Mane and Obafemi Martins, two rapid players. Next up we've got Partick Thistle with Stephen Lawless getting a 66 overall. His best stat again for some of these players is a running theme, pace. His pace is only a 74 though, which gives him the equivalent to the same as Jordan Henderson and one Thiago Silva, one of the best centre halves in the world, some would say. Next up we're talking about Ross County. Their best rated player on FIFA this year is Andrew Davies, right? Now he is a physical monster, getting a rating of 83. Now here's where it gets fun guys. That compares to Giroud and Vidal. That's got to be one for the comments, guys. Giroud and Vidal. Last and certainly least, that's right, you heard me, Doug. We've got Saints, and their best player overall rating-wise is Michael O'Halloran, who gets a 68, but he gets a whopping 90 pace, and that puts him just as quick as Hazard and Reus. That's massive. So I've gone through the highest rated player at each different team in the SPFL, and now just a couple more things to round it off. Start off with 5-star skills, something that a lot of people love to use in FIFA, and there's 2 players in the SPFL, Nadir Chifji and Gary Mackay-Steven. I'm not sure about one of those entries, guys. If you can guess which, let us know in the comments. Right, and next up, guys, we've got someone who seems to be a physical beast this year in the SPFL, and that, my friends, is Callum Patterson. He gets a beast rating of a whopping 89. That puts him up with people like Benteke and Diego Costa. Make that of that what you will, but his heading is still absolutely enormous with an 85, the same as Fellini and John Terry. Now, I talked briefly about Callum Patterson being a beast and some of his ratings, but now we've got actual strength, and the strongest player in the SPFL is actually a 2-way tie with John Sutton and Stephen McManus. They get a 91 rating overall, and that means they're as strong as Paul Pogba and Diego Costa. That is strong. I've already spoke about some of the pace on offer in the SPFL, but if you can believe it, none of them were actually the fastest player. The fastest player in the SPFL this season on FIFA 16 is going to be David Amu with 92 pace. Now, that is absolutely lightning, as quick as Lionel Messi. You heard me, as quick as Messi. Next up, I've got the 5-star weak foot player. There's only one in the SPFL this year, and it's Billy King, which makes him a really versatile player. So let me know down below how you might use him in one of your teams. We've got something a little bit special for you. We've got a challenge. So what we need is you to look through all the SPFL teams, all your favourite players, and build what you believe to be the SPFL Ultimate Team. Not as good as Chris Boyd, apparently. Fatty watch. It doesn't work as well as just me alone. I think this time I need my main maestro next to me. But it is time for Fatty watch, and this week comment comes from Crazy Daft Creations with a Z, who's telling us that he has seen Rafa Benitez and James McFadden meeting up while he was holidaying in Spain, but went up and got a word with him afterwards, and turns out Fatty turned down the deal because he doesn't want to take a place from Ronaldo or Bale. Now, that is why James McFadden is one of the greatest footballers of all time. He is just so about the football, about the best players playing the best football, but sadly he's too modest to realise he's the best player. Hopefully we'll be seeing him turning back in Scotland and getting a team soon, and getting into that game FIFA 16. I need that in my life. James McFadden, where are you? Next comment we've got comes from Ewan Ireland, who's suggesting that Fatty should go and sign for Alloa and play up top next to Michael Chopra. I'm saying, talk about lethal. Did you see Chopra's goal from like a week ago, 2 weeks back maybe even? What a ping. If those two are up top, it's going to be goal of the season every week down at Alloa. Next comment comes from Monster Cat Exclusive, and he's asking for mine and Doug's, well, sadly he's not here, reaction to Aberdeen beating Celtic 2-1 at the weekend. I love it personally myself. You know, it's always good to see our league becoming more competitive, more tight. I think it's a real statement from Aberdeen coming back from the 1-0 down, and with 10 men it was like a real show of character, just absolutely brilliant. Late drama as well. 86th minute it was for Quinn's goal, so I really do think that it's a huge statement towards Celtic, and them letting them know that it's not going to be as easy as other years. I think this year it's going to be really tough, and who knows, if Celtic go far in this league this year in Europe, I could be back in the Dons pretty soon. They're not slowing down anytime soon, that's for sure. And another comment comes from DG3, and he's asking me to explain how Kilmarnock can be absolutely shocking this season. They did get a win at the weekend, but this was before that, and still get a point off Celtic. And the reason for that is that it is the game that we love, and it's the reason we love it. Football is madness. Anything can happen on any day with football, and that is why we all tune in every week and watch. The best team in the league, it would seem, getting beat off the worst team in the league, it would seem. I mean, it's perfect. That's why we watch football every week. It's the reason we all come back time after time football is totally unpredictable. That's the only reason I can say. Sadly guys, that's all we've got time for this week on SPFL Extra, but if you join me next week, I'll be back with my colleague Dougie, and we'll be looking through some of the best comments from this week's episode. So all the normal stories and transfer stuff you can look at, new free signings, you never know. But of course, we've got a special challenge for you this week. Me and Dougie are going to be revealing our Ladbrokes SPFL Ultimate Team next week, and we want you guys to do the same. So get your comments in below, just look through all the team's best 11 players that you can put into a side to be the ultimate team for SPFL Extra. The reason we're doing it is because by this time next week, I know, I can't believe it, FIFA 16 will be hitting shelves. So get the comments below guys, hashtag FIFA SPFL Ultimate Team. And if you don't want to miss any videos, subscribe here.